the window of time. We make the difference, you and I, you and I. I never see the day when we all forget I feel, but we will in hunger, yes we will. We will in hunger, yes we will. When I was growing up, I used to say, thank God that I'm living in the USA. I hear there are places where folk don't get to eat, and they tell me that kids are dying in the street. But oh, hunger is killing the window of time. We make the difference, you and I, you and I. I'm committed to see the day when we all would eat our fill. Oh, we will in hunger, yes we will. Friends, we will in hunger, yes we will. Forever, no matter how hard we tried. Millions of brothers and sisters, they starved and died. Till one by 10, we took a stand. And we echoed the message throughout the land. We are telling the world that hunger is gonna end. This is the window of time. We make the difference, you and I, you and I. I'm committed to see the day when we all will get our fill. We will hunger, yes we will. We will in hunger, yes we will. Let me say it one more time. We will in hunger, yes we will, yeah. We will in hunger, yes we will.
Thank you and welcome to the 1989 award ceremony of the Africa Prize for Leadership for the Sustainable End of Hunger. Tonight is a night of commitment, a night of celebration, a night of tribute to those women and men on the African continent whose courage, initiative, creativity, and boldness are building a new future, a future of opportunity, a future free from hunger. We are particularly pleased to honor two great leaders of Africa. I am honored to welcome our co-laureates for 1989, His Excellency Dr. Kwet KJ Masire, President of the Republic of Botswana. And Dr. Bernard Ledea Ouedraogo of Burkina Faso. With us tonight are 1,400 diplomats, dignitaries, corporate and government leaders, Hunger Project supporters, and other friends of Africa from around the world, many of whom we will introduce later this evening. We are gathered tonight from Africa, from Japan, from Europe, from India and Pakistan, and from across North America to pay tribute to Africa and its future. Finally, before we begin our dinner, we would like to take time to pay tribute to a very special friend, an extraordinary leader for the end of hunger, and a man who has been tragically taken from us. He is Congressman Mickey Leland.
Last month, the world lost a great leader who fought for the end of hunger with the untimely and tragic death of Congressman Mickey Leland on mission in Ethiopia. As the Africa Prize is about leadership and true authentic partnership with the people of Africa, it is fitting that we take time to praise and honor a man who, in the words of Reverend Jesse Jackson, and I quote, "No one has done more to prick the conscience of this United States Congress to open up resources than has Mickey Leland," end quote. At the time we announced the winner of the 1989 Africa Prize, just days before Mickey died, the Congressional Black Caucus nominated Mickey Leland for the Africa Prize for Leadership. Certainly, Mickey exhibited the courage, boldness, creativity, and initiative in leadership for the well-being of Africa's people that the prize stands for. Like many of us here, I had the privilege of knowing Mickey Leland personally. And at the request of Chief MKO Abiola of Nigeria, publisher and chairman of the African Concord, Africa's leading Pan-African weekly, I had the interview with Mickey Leland the day before he left Washington for Ethiopia, and he told me, and I quote, "At the Select Committee on Hunger, we have succeeded in moving an agenda to alleviate hunger and poverty. We can be proud of bringing about a substantial response in times of emergency, especially the famine of 1984. We can be proud of the expanding the provisions for food, health care, and credit to the very poor in our foreign aid budget. These are good steps, but they are small, and the time has come for greater steps. The Congressional Black Caucus is as involved as any given entity in this country in trying to increase the levels of support that are necessary, but we can't do it by ourselves. We need to create public sentiment. We need to raise and illuminate the issues of Africa, particularly the human devastation that is going on right now, to the level of the great debate on South Africa. It is interesting to those of us who have been out front in the avant-garde fighting the government of South Africa to end apartheid to find that more people suffer and die of malnutrition and starvation in other parts of Africa. We need the same kind of political momentum that is involved in ending apartheid, to end hunger. There is much human misery and suffering in countries, and other countries in Africa as there is in South Africa, end quote. Mickey Leland was a great man. He was great at home, where he fought for food supplements for women and children and fought for more opportunity for the poor across America. He was great on Capitol Hill, where he fought for and then led the House Select Committee on Hunger, and then fought and won time and again to keep it alive, funded, and vital. And he was great around the world. He lived a life which demonstrated what it truly means to be human. Hunger was unacceptable to Mickey Leland. He once said, and I quote, "We're in a war, all right, but it's more than a war on poverty, it's a fight to save our humanity." Mickey was not a dreamer. He was a practical man who made things happen, and he didn't stop until they were done. He promised to keep hunger on the political agenda until the scourge of hunger was wiped off the face of the earth. He knew ending hunger could be achieved, and he was determined to make that happen. The only, and I mean the only, tribute worthy of Mickey and the people he lived and died for is for us to complete this work, to strengthen our commitment and embolden our actions in fulfilling the vision of a world free from hunger. God bless you, and thank you.
On behalf of the entire board of the Hunger Project, let me express our welcome and congratulations to our distinguished laureates, President Masiri and Dr. Ouedraogo. As tonight is a night to honor Africa, I think it's only fitting to begin reading from a message that we've received from the current chairman of the Organization of African Unity, the President of Egypt, His Excellency Hashim Mubarak. It's a great moment for Africa that two of its faithful sons have been awarded the Africa Prize for Leadership for their tireless fight against hunger in Africa. On this happy occasion, I'm especially pleased to extend my warmest congratulations to the distinguished winners. My deep respect and sincere appreciation goes to the Hunger Project for its noble efforts in confronting the hunger problems in Africa. It's now my honor to read a message from the President of the United States. I'm especially pleased to congratulate the winners of this award, President Misiri and Dr. Ouedraogo. Your honorees have been symbols of hope in the midst of many tragic struggles for survival in Africa. As the leader of Botswana's flourishing democracy, President Misiri has wisely used his country's natural resources to benefit its most precious resource, its people. Dr. Ouedraogo has been a pioneer in bringing one of Africa's largest and most successful self-help agricultural sufficiency projects to the Sahel. Barbara joins me in sending our congratulations to President Misiri and to Dr. Ouedraogo on this well-deserved recognition. We wish them and all of you involved in the Hunger Project continued success in your most important work. God bless you.
Each year, the Africa Prize honors a distinguished African man or woman who has exhibited exceptional leadership in bringing about the sustainable end of hunger at the national, regional, or continent-wide level. The prize is intended to honor individuals working in any area: politics, public policy, science, agriculture, education, health, community organizing, or any field where the leadership which they have demonstrated has gone far beyond what might be reasonably expected in terms of courage, vision, creativity, and in some cases, personal sacrifice and risk. The prize is intended also to bring to the attention of the world community the caliber and depth of leadership that is now transforming Africa. Africa is on the move, and we would like people everywhere to know and appreciate the inspiration, determination, commitment, and tenacity which is making that happen. Nominations for the Africa Prize are solicited from leaders and experts from around the world. This year, there were more nominations than ever before, reflecting the extraordinary wealth of talent from which the choice had to be made. For the first time, nominations were made by officials from the Soviet Union and other Eastern Bloc nations. Indeed, it is perhaps a particularly significant indication of the growing global consensus about the kind of leadership necessary to end hunger in Africa that one of our winners this year, President Misiri, should have received nominations not only from senior officials in the US government, but also from major figures in the Soviet Union. The Hunger Project is proud to stand with Africa in its efforts to advance the economic and social well-being of her people. On behalf of the Board of Directors, I'd like to express our deep appreciation to all of you for your participation and for your heartfelt support that made this evening possible. Thank you very much.
We're here tonight, every single one of us, because of our commitment to the people of Africa, to help them build a new future, a future in which all of Africa's people may enjoy full, healthy, productive lives, free from poverty, free from hunger. Two crucial elements are essential if Africa is to overcome the enormous, formidable challenges it faces. First, there must be effective leadership in every sector, at every level. And second, there must be a convincing vote of confidence from the international community, which will give rise to an authentic partnership, which will ensure the essential resources for the programs Africa itself has initiated to ensure the well-being of its people. The first of these ingredients, a new spirit of courageous leadership, has emerged. Africa's leaders have launched a new era. Having achieved political independence over the past 3 decades, they're now committed to achieving economic security for Africa's people. And this new spirit of leadership is not limited to just a few individuals in a few sectors, no. It's a continent-wide phenomenon in government, in education, in research and agriculture, in business, and in Africa's rapidly growing community of private development and environmental agencies. More and more of Africa's women and Africa's men are exercising their leadership that will ensure a sustainable, viable future. Tonight, as we salute leadership and partnership, we honor 2 Africans who exemplify Africa at its best. Both come from arid, landlocked countries which face daunting environmental challenges. Both are champions of the democratic process. Both have implemented policies and programs which have unleashed the productivity of the people and enabled families and villages and provinces to become self-sufficient in food production. And because of their confidence in the capacity of the people, their respect for their traditions, their sensitivity to the people's aspirations, President Msire and Bernard Ouedraogo have done and are continuing to do what must be done to bring about the sustainable end of hunger in Africa. As one of this year's co-laureates of the Africa Prize, Dr. Bernard Ouedraogo is the founder and the leader of Africa's largest and most successful movement for self-reliance. He's a bold, visionary, courageous leader who has inspired hundreds of thousands of small-scale farmers. Having realized early in his career that government-organized cooperatives were not accepted by the people, Dr. Ouedraogo searched for a better way to stimulate the participation of farmers in the improvement of their own circumstances. In his own Mossi society, there existed a traditional structure known as the Combinam, which gathered all the young men and the young women in a village for various agricultural and cultural and social activities. And since 1967, as a result of Bernard Ouedraogo's leadership, in the closest collaboration with the villages themselves, the traditional Combinam mechanism has been transformed into the pioneering modern self-help group open to everyone. In November of last year, the NAM movement declared its goal of ending chronic, persistent hunger in their villages. And Bernard Ouedraogo is also the co-founder of the 6S Association, which embraces 3,600 village development groups in 9 West African countries. 3,600 villages. In Burkina Faso, in Chad, and the Gambia, and Guinea-Bissau, and Mali, and Mauritania, and Niger, Senegal, and Togo. As one who has been privileged to work with the courageous people of the Sahel for almost 20 years, I'm particularly happy that the Hunger Project can acknowledge Bernard Ouedraogo's extraordinary contribution to humanity this night. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my high honor to present the 1989 Africa Prize of Leadership for the Sustainable End of Hunger to Bernard Ledea Ouedraogo.
Il fallait trouver une alternative, d'autres solutions immédiatement efficaces et durables. La faim, dit un paysan, n'a honte de personne et n'a pas peur de Dieu. Elle recule seulement devant le travail organisé et conscient. Nous avons tenté cela en nous inspirant d'une méthode créée en 1967 par des animateurs ruraux au Yatenga, au nord du Burkina Faso, particulièrement touchés par les effets de la sécheresse. C'est une méthode de développement endogène qui respecte 3 phases essentielles: la participation, l'autoresponsabilisation, la prise en charge des problèmes par les intéressés eux-mêmes afin d'éviter de créer une économie fragile. Votre engagement permanent de lutter contre la faim est une philosophie, une vision, une mission chargée d'espoir. Cet engagement-là n'a pas de prix. Merci.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is my high privilege to present the Africa Prize to a distinguished statesman, His Excellency Dr. Kwet K.J. Masere, President of the Republic of Botswana. President Masere has achieved dramatic results, of which I have some first-hand knowledge, in preventing famine and reducing chronic persistent hunger in his country. Shortly after he took office in 1980, Botswana was struck by one of the worst droughts in its history. Crop production was devastated, falling almost 90%. 1/3 of the livestock herd perished. And President Masere pledged that not one person would starve because of the drought. And he delivered on that promise. And despite 6 years of devastating drought and, believe me, a hostile political environment, President Mosseri's government has achieved the most sustained economic growth of any country in Africa, with an average annual economic growth rate of 12% for the last 10 years. President Mosseri's primary objective has been to direct the fruits of this economic growth to small-scale farmers by providing them the opportunity they need to achieve self-sufficiency, clean water in the villages, upgraded rural roads, expanded educational and health facilities in the rural areas, intensive integrated development schemes in targeted parts of the country, extension officer cadres to promote small village-based industries and continued expansion of livestock production. And through programs such as these and through a brilliant system of nutritional monitoring and support, Botswana has achieved the lowest infant mortality rate in continental sub-Saharan Africa.
Congratulations, Mr. President.
It is a great honor for me to receive the 1989 Africa Prize for Leadership for a Sustainable End of Hunger on behalf of the government and the people of my country, Botswana, and indeed on my own behalf. It is also an honor for me to speak to this distinguished assembly today. Last year, President Mugabe spoke about the achievement of Zimbabwe in bringing real opportunities to millions of his countrymen to improve agricultural productivity after decades in which such opportunities had been suppressed. I am proud to follow in the footsteps of this great African statesman and liberator. After many years in which the world has come to see Africa as a succession of disaster stories, this is a good place to take a stock. The Hunger Project has been set up by people who wish to see hunger eradicated. Perhaps we cannot eliminate war and war-related hunger, but surely we can eradicate drought-induced hunger. I wish to join Dr. Odego in saying, what a pity we can't offer you a prize for the laudable work you are doing in helping us to help ourselves. I would like to pay tribute to those of you who are involved in this endeavor. I am comforted by the commitment and fortitude I see here. I am confident that we will together continue from where our friend Mickey Leland left us. May his soul rest in peace. All over Africa, we are trying to reverse the decline in terms of trade that the agricultural sector has faced, often having to make painful structural adjustments with mixed results. We have had to learn to understand the real constraints that farmers face in order to see why it is difficult for many farmers to change their technologies. We have learned that if we offer improved technologies to men, when women are doing the field work, we do not get very far. We have learned the lesson and role from the experience of farmers, and to work with them, not against them. And in drought-prone areas, we have had to accept the farmers face much higher risks than we generally imagine, and that their responses to production levels will be low. These have not been easy lessons. How then do we deal with the drought? The first answer to that question is that the effects of drought are multi-faced and need multi-pronged response. Our drought programs in rural areas include supplementary feeding, cash for work, agricultural and water programs. We have a cash for work program for the able-bodied, which is operated in each village. This offered participants a relatively low wage for work on projects selected by village development committees. The low wage was important because it ensured a self-selection of participants in place of what might have been competition for jobs at village levels, although my political components call that slavery wage. By providing wages in the villages, we kept village stores from going bankrupt, and we ensured that food and other goods still moved through commercial channels. Perhaps I should add that this is the main reason why we discourage food for work project in Botswana. The movement of food to the projects by project vehicles works against the commercial sector at a time when it needs support. Perhaps I could end with a rather sobering reflection. Scientific analysis of climatic changes has shown that global warming due to the greenhouse effect is taking place at an unprecedented rate because of men's activities in industry and agriculture. The industrialized countries may do more for Africa in the long run by helping to reduce global warming than by supplementing a short-term aid. However, Mr. Chairman, I don't mean that short-term aid is not required. But we welcome that it is at this time that this due consideration should be made of my suggestion. We would prefer to prevent droughts altogether rather than have to learn to deal with them well. Let me take this opportunity once more to thank you on behalf of the government and the people of Botswana for having honored us with this prestigious award. We strongly endorse the objectives of the Hunger Project, and we believe that we are working towards those same objectives. We should be able to eradicate hunger in our lifetime. I thank you, Mr. Chairman.
We are proud to bring to you the crown king of Juju music, His Excellency King Sunny Ade and his African beats.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much.
Kò síjú wọnú Áfíríkà yìí o. Ẹ̀bẹ̀ làwọn bàbá Elédùmarè. Kò síjú wọnú Áfíríkà yìí o. Ẹ jẹ́ kí gbogbo wa tẹ́wọ́ àdúrà. Kí Áfíríkà kó tòrò kó dẹ̀ wá lọ́rùn. Lágbára Olúwa wa ìgbẹ̀yìn bọ̀ wá dá. Ìbùkún Olúwa wa kó bá wa gbé o. Ṣé dáríjì àti rẹ́pọ̀ làwọn fẹ́? Ṣé dáríjì àti rẹ́pọ̀ ló láyé? Kájọ ṣe. Ewé tàbá kájọ ṣe o. Ẹ jẹ́ ká sowọ́pọ̀ ká fi ìmọ̀ ṣọ̀kan ká gbé Áfíríkà ga kógo Áfíríkà kó lè ṣojú wa. Ẹ jẹ́ ká jọ ṣe. Olúwa ló gbé mi ló yàn mí wá. Gbogbo àwọn àyànfẹ́ ló ṣe lógo. Ìrọ̀kìtà ronú èmi ló yàn mí wá. Gbogbo àwọn àyànfẹ́ ló ṣe lógo. Ìrọ̀kìtà ronú o. Ìrọ̀rùn o. Ìrọ̀lá. Ìrọ̀rùn o. Orí ló ń pọ́n lákòrí. Orí ló ń pọ́n lákòrí. Ẹ̀dá mi pété mi kò mí. Má jẹ́ sí wọn wáyé. Èmi ti gbóhùn Olúwa tó wí. Wá wá arákùnrin o dìde nínú ọgbà àjàrà Olúwa rẹ̀ kò sì máa gbádùn lọ. Wá wá arákùnrin o dìde nínú ọgbà àjàrà Olúwa rẹ̀ kò sì máa gbádùn lọ. Ayé lè máa ṣáta lórí asán. Gẹ́gẹ́ sí.
síjó ìlú ń dún kọ́ran lórí lọ mélòmélò tó bá ṣe péré mi ni wọ́n ní máa múra síjó má gbàgbé rí ìrònú lọ́kàn mi tó ń lọ lọ́wọ́. májò 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 má tún mẹ́mú má fi bàrọ̀ lù rẹ̀. májò 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 má tún mẹ́mú má fi bàrọ̀ lù rẹ̀. I want to see all your hands up this way. All right. Thank you so much. I love you all. Yeah, that's the beginning of the unity. Thank you so much. We're going to sing now.